It's that time of year. The new Premier League season is nearly here, and it's time once again for my Premier League predictions. I am coming off the back of my worst year in terms of predictions. I think I got 2 right, and they were the top 2, and I think maybe one of the teams to get relegated. So I'm not in a good place. I'm very much in the bin with some of the stuff I say, but this year I'm hoping I get at least more than 2 right. Right, let's get into this. So the team I have in first place, I'm going to say Liverpool. I'm going to talk about first and second kind of hand in hand because I think it is without question 2 teams that are going to be going for it. Not saying that it'll just be a 2-horse race for the title, but I think there are 2 teams that are well and truly head and shoulders above the rest. Liverpool, I think, have had the best window. They've had some incredible signings so far to improve an already title-winning squad. Obviously, they've lost a couple of key players, but they've gone and replaced each and every one of them and added to the squad. In terms of quality, I don't think there's many other teams in Europe that have a better starting 11. And I think to say that this team won't be going for the title or the Champions League is a bit naive. Now, obviously, it'll take time for some signings to settle in because a lot of them are coming from the Bundesliga, and obviously in the past, Bundesliga signings haven't worked in the Premier League, but if there's any team that's going to make a signing work, it's going to be Liverpool, and it's going to be Arne Slot. The key areas they needed to improve, they've improved on. Having a midfield 3 of Gravenberch, McAllister and Florian Wirtz is disgusting, and having a front 3 that could also improve with Isak. If they get Isak, it's done and dusted. I'm kind of on the fence with whether or not City or Liverpool will win. If they get Isak, it's done without question, and he's trying to force a move, which I will get to in a bit. The players that they already have are on a different level entirely. Obviously, it'll take time for them to settle in fully, but I've no doubt that it's going to be all guns blazing for Liverpool. In second, I've gone with Man City. Similar to Liverpool, they've strengthened an already amazing squad. They'll have key players like Rodri back, who have been out for a long time. Quality is already there, though. It already was better than a lot of the other teams, and I think the signings that they've made will help them kind of bounce back. I think the other players as well that they have will work amazingly, and they've already got amazing players, so they'll definitely be challenging for the league. Now, here is where it gets slightly controversial. In third, I have Chelsea, and fourth, I have Arsenal. I'll work my way down in terms of order in the league, but Chelsea, they have the momentum built up of the Conference League and the Club World Cup. The signings that they made over the summer that played in the Club World Cup are already making a difference, and they're already improving other players around them. Palmer already now has a focal point to aim at, and even then, they got Liam Delap very early in the window. He played a couple of games in the Club World Cup and looked incredible. I thought that he would be a definite starter next season, but then they went and signed João Pedro. So, again, similar to City, the quality of players and the amount of players they have isn't going to be a problem. And the only problem it will create is for other teams. Because like I said, João Pedro in particular is already showing amazing potential. Other players as well, like Jamie Bino-Gittins and Estevao. The talent in Chelsea is ridiculous. At Arsenal, however, slightly different story. And you may be thinking, why put Arsenal fourth when they've addressed the striker problem? I think that's only part of the issue. Yes, they've got Gyökeres. He's coming from the Portuguese league. Now, don't get me wrong, scoring 50 plus goals across 2 seasons in any league is still respectable. However, Portuguese league and the Championship, which he came from, are very different to the Premier League. He will possibly have the most amount of pressure coming from a new signing. Obviously, Wirtz and Ekitike are coming for a lot of money, so they already have that pressure. Gyökeres, however, had a different sort of pressure because obviously he is coming for a good bit of money. But the amount of time Arsenal have been saying, oh, we need a striker, this and that. They now have a striker. They should be going on to win the league. However, their squad, the comparison between their squad and the likes of Liverpool, I'm not saying Arsenal are a bad team, I'm not saying they don't play good football. However, they don't have the experience of winning. And I still don't think, even with Gyökeres, they do any more than what they've already done. I still think they'll be in a title race. I think all 4 teams will be in the title race. Don't get me wrong. Liverpool and Man City, like I said, will be a good bit ahead of Chelsea and Arsenal. In 5th place, I'm going to go with Newcastle. Now, Isak is going to be a problem with Newcastle. He's trying to force a move out to Liverpool, and he's been frozen out of first team training. Now, if he keeps this up, he will either leave Newcastle for Liverpool, in which Newcastle will lose their best player, or Isak decides to stay with Newcastle and bite the bullet and continue playing. He is the best striker in the world. There is no question. So, if he stays and continues the form he had last season, Newcastle will be 5th. If he doesn't, Newcastle will be in trouble. Their midfield is still very strong. Their defence is very strong, so it's not as if they're going to just drop down a table if Isak leaves, because while he's the main man there, they still have a lot of key players that boost the quality of the team up. In 6th place, I've gone with Aston Villa. Unai Emery for me is still up there with the best managers in the league. They haven't made any major signings, but there's also not been any major departures, so for the most part they still have the same squad. European football wasn't a problem for them last season, and even with the drop in quality to the Europa League, that also won't be an issue. I think they can easily go on to win the Europa League. I'm not sure what teams are in the Europa League right now, but Aston Villa are definitely going in as one of the stronger ones. With the squad they have, they could definitely cause upsets in the league and in Europe. In 7th place, I've gone with Nottingham Forest. Now, this could be a bit high. Despite losing Elanga, who was a massive part of their success last season, they still have a lot of their key players. You know, their defence is arguably the strongest in the league. They've really good midfield players. If they can keep Chris Wood scoring on a regular basis like he did last season, they will definitely be fine. European football might be a small issue because they haven't played in any competition in a while, but it's not as if it's going to be a massive toll on the squad because they've got really good players. They've made some good signings. In 8th place, I've got Spurs. A new manager coming in with a hell of a lot of work to do. New styles to be implemented and a lot of fans to please. A lot of eyes are going to be on Thomas Frank. If there's any manager that I would trust to kind of steady a ship at a big club like Spurs, at a moderately sized club like Spurs, it would be Thomas Frank. The signings that they made,
I only wanted Spurs.
I don't even want to talk about Kudus, you know. It's a great signing. What can I say? He's going to be a very good player there. I hope he gets his ankles absolutely snapped in half, preferably by Wan-Bissaka. But other signings like João Palhinha, like, they will come in and improve on a lot of weak areas. Unfortunately, we can't banter them about not winning trophies anymore. Maybe not challenge for any trophies, but they'll definitely be more consistent, I think. Once the new style is implemented by Thomas Frank, they'll be fine. I still want them to get relegated though, and that will never change. 9th place, I've gone Man United. Now, it's interchangeable between Spurs and United because I still think they're in similar places, but not really, because Spurs obviously made a lot of progress with winning the trophy. Weaker areas have been improved on. Like in attack, they really were lackluster last season. With the system they play, they've got 2 new players that will fit in perfectly. It's a thing of will they work out? Will the system work with the players they have? There's going to be a lot of pressure on new players, and even the players that are there already, they're still in my opinion, they're still very weak defensively. Goalkeeper is still a massive issue for them. In my opinion, their wing backs are not good. They've got quality centre backs like Yarrow and Maguire to an extent, but overall I just think they're very shaky defensively. However, no European football means that they can just solely focus on improving their league position. 10th place, I've gone Crystal Palace. European football will be great to see at Selhurst Park. That may be testing the strength of their squad. However, that won't be as much of a test as the Europa League would be. They've kept a lot of their key players. Eze, Adam Wharton still there, Mateta still there. They haven't made a lot of signings, but they've also got rid of a lot of dead weight as well. Heading into the bottom half of the table, in 11th place, I've got Bournemouth. Attacking wise, they are still very strong. Cliver, I think, is going to the season injured. I'm not entirely sure. I did see a report that he is injured. Defensively, though, they could be in trouble because pretty much the entire back line they had last season has all left. They're not going to find the quality in the likes of Dean Huijsen or Kirkes very easily, so defensively they could be struggling a bit more than last season. But I would trust the manager, who I think is still very reliable, to get a job done with the players that he has. I think that for the most part it's only their defence that they really need to sort out. Attacking wise, they're fine. Midfield, they're fine. And in the attack and in the midfield, they have really good quality. In 12th place, I've gone with Brighton. Now, Brighton have lost a lot of key players. João Pedro's gone to Chelsea. Estupiñán's left. Adingra has gone, which I actually highly rate. Evan Ferguson's gone on loan. But Brighton still have this unnatural ability to just sign random hidden gems from across the world, and they've made some signings that I've no doubt there's a hidden gem in there. 100%. They've all come for cheap as well. and I still feel sorry for teams that have to play Brighton in the Amex. In 13th, I've gone with Fulham. I still think players that they have are a solid and tricky team to play against. Marco Silva's still there, so I think he'll get the best out of them. Similar to Villa, they've no major signings but also no major exits, so they're going into the summer with pretty much the exact same team, so they'll be fine. They'll be a solid team to play against. Now, in 14th, regrettably, I have put my team, West Ham United. My favourite part of the video, talking about my beloved club. I don't know what I expect for this season. My expectations aren't super high. The signings that we've made already are very hit and miss. We've completed the loan of Jean-Claire Todibo, which I'm actually happy about. Juff is a very good signing and I'm very excited to see him play. I would be lying if I said I knew everything about him because I didn't watch the Czech League, but after seeing clips of him and seeing him in pre-season, I have no doubt he's going to be a good signing. Kyle Walker-Peters, I think, is smart. I was kind of on the fence with him, but I think because Wan-Bissaka and Diouf will be leaving for AFCON later on in the season, he will be a good replacement. And I think for the most part, he'll be a good rotation player as well. Mads Hermansen has been sought out for a lot of clubs, which I think is a good sign. And he did have a lot of saves last season made. He bailed Leicester out a lot. But the reason I'm on the fence with him is because he played for Leicester and because they got relegated. Now, obviously, you can't just blame the fact that they got relegated on Hermansen, but he was a key part of the team and they did get relegated. So that's the only reason I'm on the fence with it. But we need a new goalkeeper. We desperately needed to address the goalkeeper problem at West Ham. We have, so I'm hoping Hermansen is the reliable option from here on out. And Callum Wilson is... like, what else is there to say other than just embarrassing? It's just typical West Ham, isn't it? We replace an injury-prone striker in his early to mid-30s with an injury-prone striker in his early to mid-30s. I don't care that he came for free. I don't care if he's rotation option. This is not a signing of a club looking to get back to where it was. Not even 3 years ago were we competing in European competitions. We were competing in European semi-finals and we go and sign the likes of Callum Wilson. And the worst part of it all, it didn't shock me either. It did not shock me whatsoever. The style of play we've been working with in pre-season, I don't think entirely works because we have little to no creativity, especially in the midfield. We played three midfielders who aren't known for being super creative. Other than Paqueta, Paqueta is a good option, yeah, but when he's not playing well, he does not play well. I'm really, really glad though he did get charges dropped by the FA. I think that's going to be a massive weight on his shoulders, so hopefully we see a lot more of him playing like how we did in his first season here. I still think we do need a creative midfielder. We've been linked to Jacob Ramsey and Harvey Elliott. I think we're on the verge of signing Mateus Fernandes from Southampton. I still would take Fernandes and I still would take Ramsey, but I think Harvey Elliott is a big, big statement signing, and I think that's the type of player that we would need to kind of push back up the table and get back to where we were and get back to fighting for Europe. That's what I want to see this season. I don't think we're going to do it, but a man can dream. On a positive note though, we do have some players back from loan. I still think Callum Marshall will go back on loan. I'm almost certain of it now with Wilson. But players like Nayef Aguirre, Freddie Potts, I'm so happy they're back. Freddie Potts in particular. I'm saying it now, Freddie Potts will shine this season. I am so confident of it. If he stays fit, he will be an incredible player for us. However, we need to balance him in the midfield with creative players. I don't think Paqueta is enough. Ward-Prowse and Souček and Alvarez, they're not creative attacking midfielders. So as of right now, we don't have a creative midfielder other than Paqueta. If we sign a creative midfielder like Harvey Elliott, I will be very happy, and I think that will definitely boost us up the table. But as of right now, it's somewhat bleak, but the hope is still there. It's small, but it's there. In 15th place, I've gone Wolves. They're just hit or miss overall. A lot of key players for them have left, and I just think the overall quality of the squad isn't as good as others. I think for the most part, they're still a tricky club, but in terms of quality, the entire season, they're not going to be as much of a threat as other clubs. In 16th, I've gone with Everton. This could be a bit too low for Everton because they've made really, really good signings. They've just signed Jack Grealish. They've brought in the likes of Kieran Dewsbury Hall, which I desperately wanted at West Ham. And again, they're not an easy team to play against, especially at home. They will have the new stadium though, which might have an effect. Whether that be positive or negative, I'm not entirely sure. I would possibly guess that it's going to be more of a negative than positive until they obviously get used to it, which I think there'll be a bit of an excitement at the start of the season in particular in playing in a new stadium, but for the most part, it's not going to be the same as playing at Goodison, which you're not going to be able to recreate the atmosphere at Goodison. Well, it's not as if it's just going to be an empty bowl. In 17th, just above relegation, I have gone with Burnley. I think they will just have the quality to stay up. I'm not entirely sure. They've made a lot of signings. They've completed a lot of loans from players that were in the championship with them. They have lost some key players, but I think for the most part they'll just have enough quality to stay up. I think compared to the other teams below them, they have a better squad and manager as well. I think Scott Parker will finally have that quality he needs to get a team to stay up in the league. Now, in the relegation spots, I have in 18th, Brentford. I think the fact that Mbeumo has left and Wissa rumoured to leave, they're not going to have enough quality to stay up. 19th in Sunderland, and again, this might be a bit low because they've made amazing signings actually, and they've made a lot of good signings, but I just think in terms of quality in all areas, it's not going to be Premier League standard. And then in last, I've gone with Leeds. Similar to Sunderland, I think just the entire squad isn't going to be Premier League standard. I don't think they'll have a major run of form. I don't want Leeds to get relegated, but I just think again they're just not going to be good enough to stay up. And there you have it. They are my Premier League predictions for the 25-26 season. I'm praying on everything that I do well this season because last year was not good. I'm leaving that in the past. We're moving on. Hopefully this year will be entertaining. It'll be fun. It'll be electric. And I'm excited. I'm excited to have football back at last. So let me know what you think of my predictions. Let me know if you think I'm crazy, if you think I'm right. I hope I'm right again. So all that's left for me to say is thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all at the end of the season.